I was on that airboat with the paramedics from Arkansas for 2 days, and I remember in that inner city apartment complex, a kid came out onto like a little balcony thing. A boy, 14 years old, probably 13, 14. The paramedics were doing all the talking, and they said, "Why don't you come go with us?" And the kid was he didn't really respond to him. He just kind of looked at him and mumbled, and finally they got him over there where we could talk to him, and he said, he was up above us on a little balcony, probably 10 or 12 foot above us, and he said, I'm waiting on my mama to come back. She went for help. And they talked back and forth, and finally figured out that his mother had went for help right when the hurricane hit, which put it days or a week away. I think the paramedics, when we were talking about it after they finally talked this child into coming downstairs and getting into the boat with us. He was real dehydrated. They figured out that this child had been by himself for a week. So at least we were a week into this thing, and they started an IV on him immediately. This child, he was dehydrated. He 13, 14 years old. He had been shut up in that apartment by himself pretty much for a week, waiting on his mama to come back. And so obviously that wasn't an option. I think about how scary that would be for a 13-year-old child. He was like, he didn't even realize that he had been there for days and days by himself. He was just kind of out of it. Like I say, he was dehydrated, and he was in pretty bad shape.